Thank you, ladies. Welcome. And for today's class, if you have there. If you have a strap or a scarf will do. If you want to have a blanket, a block, or two blankets for extra support, just have your props handy. And today we're going to start by sitting up on Sukhasana or easy pose. And if you have a block cushion or a blanket that you can sit on, you're welcome to just have that right under your tailbone. I do like to have an extra support under my feet. It's just, that just feels good on my ankles. So you're welcome to have that as well. So that your pelvis is actually tilted forward just a little bit. Keep your strap handy if you have one. Relax your shoulders back and down. Tuck your chin onto your chest just a little bit so you feel that elongation at the back of the neck. Think about rooting through your sit bones, and your tailbone is lifted just a little bit like a happy dog tailbone. And sometimes that blanket or block, if you are placing one, is just right at the edge. It's just enough to not allow your pelvis to tuck in. That's all we want. Then release your shoulders over the hips. Maybe rest your hands on your legs if you like. If this is not comfortable for your knees, remember you can always extend your legs and have extra props under the knees as well if needed. Eyes are closed, breath is flowing, and we'll just take a few moments here and observe. If there are any adjustments that you need to make yourself a little more comfortable, you're welcome to go for it. And then we notice the quality of the breath. With every inhalation, we start sending the breath a little farther down in the body. And with every exhalation, we allow the navel to gently move into the spine just a little bit, allowing all the air out. Soften your belly as you breathe in and start expanding into the sides of the body, into the back body. Maybe your shoulders even expand sideways and upwards as you continue to breathe in. And when you breathe out, you may feel your body softening, shoulders down, side ribs empty, navel drops into the spine. A couple of breaths like this. On your next inhalation, tuck your chin onto your chest. We'll take a few moments, feel the stretch on the back of the neck. And you may start moving your chin across the collarbone side to side. Just gentle movements. If you find spots of tension, you may stay there. You can move your head side to side on that spot and then continue tracing your collarbone. Maybe you find another spot of tension and you do the same thing. Find your rhythm. And when you are ready, come back to center. Keep your chin close to your chest, right at the center. Blink your eyes open. Bring your gaze forward and roll your shoulders back and down a few times. Awesome. Now, on your next breath, you're gonna draw your shoulder blades together and bring your hands into Svasti Mudra. So actually, we're gonna bring that right arm in front of the left, and you want your palms facing away from the body. We're gonna work with one side only, and only if it works for you, and if you know, nobody's gonna think what is going on in there, you may do the sound or make the sound ha with your exhalation. So we're gonna inhale at center. And as we exhale, we're gonna gently rotate to the right, extend your right arm and ha. Draw your shoulder blade in towards the center of the back and draw your shoulder in and inhale back to center. We repeat, ha, and inhale, ha, and inhale. We'll do 7 more. Ha, 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 ha. When you're done with your rounds, you're gonna stay open and breathe. You're maybe be gazing at your fingertips. If your shoulder allowed, your neck allows, you don't have to. You can be just looking sideways. Maybe you roll your eyes towards the right just so that you get the stretch on your eyes, but don't make them, don't strain them. We'll take one more breath here. Make sure you're not leaning on your right side. And the next time you inhale, slowly come back to center. And we switch mudras, shoulder blades together. Inhale through your nostrils. And as you exhale, Svasti Mudra to the left and ha. And inhale and ha. And inhale and ha. And 7 more at your own pace. Ha. 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 When you're done with the rounds, once more, you're gonna stay back and breathe. Maybe gaze to the fingertips on the left hand. You don't have to, remember. You can look to the side of the mat if needed. That left shoulder blade is engaged and towards the center of your back. Your shoulder is retracting. Your navel is slightly in, but you're not tensing too much that your breath stops. You do want to keep your posture nice and tall, but not stiff. And the next time you breathe in, come back to center. And as you breathe out, release your hands, shoulders back and down, close your eyes, take a few moments and observe the breath. Checking in with the shoulders, the neck, and when you're ready, open your eyes and extend your right leg out to the right and flex your foot. And you want to once more balance the weight on your hips. So making sure that you're not leaning onto one side. If you need extra support, you can take your blanket, or if you have an extra blanket, and you can have it under the knee to prevent hyperextension of the knee. As you take your next exhalation, rotate your torso towards that right leg, spread your right toes wide, press the left knee down, and your fingertips go towards the floor, cupcake hands. It's like if you were trying to push the mat down and push your the crown of the head upwards. Do not let your shoulders come up. On your next exhalation, slowly and with control, you're gonna start walking your hands down that right leg. And just a gentle squeeze on the right side of your body, depending how far down you go. Don't force it. Breathe here. You're still activating that left leg. And we'll take one more breath, full deep breath. And very slowly and mindfully walk yourself back to the center, torso forward. Awesome. Now bring your right hand to the inside of your leg, anywhere that lands. And if you have problems with reaching for the floor, remember you can have a block if you're not sitting on it for extra support. Left hand comes to the side, to the floor. Inhale here, come up. And exhale, side bend, maybe ha, you don't have to. Inhale, fingertip down. And exhale, maybe palm up and ha. And inhale down and ha. And we'll do 7 more. Ha, Don't force it. And remember that that right leg is active, right foot is active. 4 more, I think. And ha. And ha. And when you're done with your last round, you're gonna stay down and breathe. If this is too much for your shoulder, once you get into that still position, you're gonna bring your arm towards the sky, or you can bring your hand on your lower back. Or if it's okay, you stay where you were. Depending on your body, some of you may bring the elbow down onto the floor, but once again, you do not have to, you can stay up. Whichever version, just make sure it feels right and then you're not pressing into your right rib cage against the leg if you have gone too far down. And one more breath, full deep breath. And on your next inhalation, wherever your arm is, reach up to the sky. And as you exhale all the way up to an upright position, lean back, bend your right knee. You may extend both legs to the front, shake the tension off. Swing your legs or your feet. And then we do the same thing on the other side. We're gonna go on to Sukhasana with the left leg in front, just so that you adjust. And then you can extend that left leg out to the side, flexing. Remember, if you put a support under one knee, you wanna do the same thing on the other side, active foot. Right leg is also active. And then when you're ready, rotate your torso towards the extended leg and cupcake hands just by the sides of the leg. Some of you may walk the hands forward, feeling a deeper extension through your hamstring, but you don't have to, you can stay up. Breathe here. Don't let your head collapse. We're not aiming to touch the knee with the forehead or anything like that. We do want to have the hips balanced onto the floor rather than leaning onto the left. If your right knee does not touch the floor, that's not important. Just make sure that leg remains active and that you're not torquing the knee. On your next breath, you're gonna slowly and mindfully walk your hands up and rotate your torso forward. Once again, if you put support on the other side to stay a little higher, you're welcome to do that. You're gonna place your left hand on the inside of your leg. So you can do cupcake hand, flat palm, maybe really closer to the leg. Right fingertips to the floor. And as you take your next inhalation, maybe palm up, reach up, and exhale, ha. And inhale, fingertips down, and ha. And down, and ha. And 7 more, then find your rhythm. 2 more. And we stay down and breathe. And once you get down into your position, remember you can extend your arm to the sky. If this is too intense for your shoulder, you can bring your hand on your lower back. You can stay higher. Breathe deeply here. Don't let your body collapse towards the floor. Pressing that right knee down, relaxing the jaw, the face. And we'll take one more breath here, full deep breath. And on your next inhalation, fingertips to the sky, and exhale, come back up. Lean back, extend your legs to the front and shake the tension off. Great. Bring your foot soles together and let your knees flare. You don't have to bring your feet too close to your groin. Just make sure that you're able to still tilt your pelvis slightly forward. Activate your feet so your toes might be spreading away from each other and your 4 corners of the feet are touching. So the balls of the feet and the heels are touching from the inner and outer edges. Hold onto your ankles or onto your knees, onto your shins, whatever works for you. Lengthen through the spine. You can use your hands to help you, this is the name, to leverage your body forward. So you can use your hands to hinge forward. And with that, just put a little bit of effort and get those shoulder blades together and pull them down the spine. Do not force. Make sure this is not bothering your knees. Some of you might go a little farther forward. Some of you may actually reach for the floor. And if you're quite flexible and your body can go over your feet, your chest to your feet, you're welcome to do that. You don't have to do it. Make sure this is, once again, not upsetting your joints. We're gonna take 2 more breaths here. Be mindful, and when you're ready, come back to an upright, knees up, extend your legs and shake the tension off. We're gonna come down the block, and if you have your blanket or blankets handy, we're gonna go onto the knees. So no fancy way, just find your way onto your knees, pat them if you want. Press the top of the feet on the floor. You can also have a blanket under the ankles if you need to. Bring your toes touching and your knees wide apart. Some of you might feel more comfortable with the knees touching, child's pose. So maybe check both. I like my knees apart. It just makes space for me. I can breathe better, so you can try them both. Wiggle your body so that you can balance your hips, and it also softens your hips. Then bring your fist under the forehead. You can stack them, or you can rest your forehead straight down onto the floor. Whichever version, just make sure that feels okay on your neck. You're not straining on your neck if you have your fist under the forehead. Sometimes we're not far back, sitting back, depending on the knees or the hips. And it's very common that we start shifting the weight forward, pressing the forehead too hard onto the hands, putting all that weight on the back of the neck. So make sure that this is not going on. If you cannot sit back, don't force it either. You can bring your elbows wide apart and just stay a little higher. You can just bring your fists together and stay higher. Just don't put strain on the neck. We'll take 2 more breaths here on child's pose. When you are ready, on your next breath, you're gonna slowly come up onto your fours on your way onto your tabletop position. About a fist distance between the knees. Stack your shoulders, your hips. Press the top of the feet on the floor, tailbone up as you inhale, open your chest, look forward or up. And as you exhale, tuck your tailbone, round your back, and let your head dangle. And again, inhale, tailbone first. Drop your belly, open your chest, and look up. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, round your back, and head down. 1 more. Start with the tailbone, inhale. And again, start with the tailbone as you exhale, tuck it, and then round your back. Come back to neutral as you inhale. And exhale, wiggle your tail like a happy dog. Once you're ready, you're gonna bring that left leg back, curl the toes under, and press your heel just away from you. So your right knee is on the floor, and we're gonna leave the opposite hand on the floor. Okay, so when you are ready, inhale your right leg, not leg, but your right arm up, rotate gently towards the sky. And as you exhale, thread the needle, bring that right hand in between that left hand and foot, and rest your temple maybe down, and inhale, slowly come up, gently rotate, and exhale, thread the needle, bending that left arm. And again, inhale. And exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Last one. And we stay down. When we get there, breathe. Now, just like before, we're super careful of the neck. If you want, you can have a block under your right temple. You don't have to go all the way down. You can rest your elbow right under the shoulder and just go a little lower. We'll take one more breath here, full deep breath. And on your next inhalation with control, bring yourself up, rotate towards the sky, and exhale, hand down. Now lift your left leg, just have it at the level of your hip, and move it across towards the right side of the mat. Press your heel away from you. You might already feel a stretch through your glute or your right hip. You can stay here, or if you choose, hinge gently towards the right. You can bring your gaze to the outside of your right hand, center of the mat on the right side, or back onto your left heel. Make sure you are breathing. The next time we inhale, we return to center with the upper body. And as we exhale, bring the left leg up and center, release it down, and adjust your tabletop position. At your own time, we're gonna bring that right leg back, curl toes under, and push your heel back. Balance your hips, and we're gonna thread the needle. When you inhale, bring your left arm up, rotate your torso to the sky, and exhale, swing your arm. And inhale. And exhale down. 3 more at your own time. And on the third one, we're gonna stay down and breathe. Once again, you can rest your elbow down and adjust. You can slightly rotate your torso to the right. If you have any concerns with your neck or high blood pressure, or you rest down. Maybe temple on the floor, maybe on a block. Keep pressing that right heel away from you. The next time we inhale very slowly, we're gonna come up, rotate, and exhale down. Adjust your hands, bring that right leg up and cross over to the left and push your heel away. For some of us, this is enough. We can stay here if that feels right. Otherwise, you may hinge to the left and bring your gaze towards your heel, right heel. If the neck does not like that, remember you can adjust your gaze in whichever position feels right for your neck. When we're ready, we're gonna bring the gaze slowly back to center as we inhale, and then as we exhale, bring that right leg up, center, and down. You may sit back on your version of child's pose. If you tried one the first time, you may wanna try the other variation, knees together or apart. Maybe stack your fists, forehead down, breathe deeply. Let us take one more breath here, full deep breath. And on the next inhalation, slowly and mindfully, walk your hands towards the front of the mat and come up onto your tabletop position. Bring your knees closer together. If you were on a wide knee child's pose, curl the toes under, draw your navel in, maybe send your tailbone up, although we're not going into a full cow stretch, but we're just trying to lift the tailbone a bit. Keep drawing your navel in though. Then pick up the knees and push up onto your downward facing dog, drawing the chest towards the thighs. If you had a blanket and if you want, very mindfully, you may put the blanket out of the way now. Pressing your heels towards the floor. Keep drawing your navel in. Now here, you want to think about your upper body, your upper back, just being a little more broad, like you want your shoulder blades away from each other. We usually bring them together, but that's a cue that I'm always telling you to do. But here we're gonna do the opposite. We want to draw the shoulder blades away from each other. The way to do that, you may think about sucking through the armpits, like if you were hollowing up those armpits. It's like if you were trying to rotate your arms without moving your hands. So the eyes of your elbows may face upwards. I'm not gonna face that way, but that's just the rotation we want the arms and shoulders to take. And notice how that moves your shoulder blades away from each other. Relax your neck, so you may move your head yes and no. Maybe your gaze is in between your feet. Those of you with high pressure or high blood pressure, you're welcome to rest your knees onto the floor and go into a cow stretch instead. Otherwise, we're gonna take 3 more breaths here. When you are done with your 3 breaths, very slowly and mindfully come up on the balls of the feet and then release your knees down, uncurl the toes, rest your elbows on the floor, curl the toes under, tuck the tailbone, pick up the knees and go onto an elbow plank. Breathe. You can have fists on your hands, you can flip your palms down. Slowly and mindfully release your knees down, uncurl the toes, and rest your belly down. One hand on top of the other, rest your forehead down and breathe. You can bring your big toes to touch, heels out for a few moments. We'll take one more breath here, full deep breath. And when you are ready, slowly and mindfully press your arms down, come up onto your elbows once again for Sphinx pose. So you want your elbows right below the shoulders, palms facing down. You can hug your elbows to make sure they're not wider than the shoulders, so your fingers should curl around them. And then your forearms are parallel to the outer edges of the mat. If this is uncomfortable for your hips or your lower back, you can bring your legs a little wider apart. Otherwise, you can stay with your legs together, just press your feet down, or you can bring them about fist distance apart. Your gaze can be between the hands, slightly forward, or if your neck allows, maybe you look up. Pick up the knees, extend your legs, and breathe. We'll take one more breath here, full deep breath. And on your next exhalation, bring your gaze down, stack your hands on top of each other, and rest yourself down as you open your elbows, big toes touching, heels out, forehead to the floor or to the hands. On your next inhalation, bring your feet parallel and press the top of the feet on the floor. Bring your hands under the shoulders and then glide your hands a little lower so that your thumbs point towards your breasts or towards your nipples and your middle finger points forward. Spread your fingers wide, but you don't want your pinkies too wide apart. Squeeze your elbows towards your rib cage without bothering your elbows or your shoulders. As you press the top of the feet on the floor, see if your knees can come off the ground. When you inhale, bring your forehead up, nose, chin, and chest. Maybe hands as well. And as you exhale, rest your hands down, chest, chin, nose, forehead down. Forehead up, nose, chin, chest, and hands. Keep the top of the feet pressing the floor. Exhale, hands, chest, chin, nose, forehead. We stay up this time. Inhale up. You can stay with your hands on the floor or off the floor. Watch for your neck. You can be looking forward or up and make sure you're not pinching the back of the neck. If it's not comfortable, keep your gaze down instead. On the next exhalation, bring your hands down, chest, chin, nose, and forehead. Gaze to the right, palms face up, big toes touching, heels out. Gaze to the other side. Mindfully bring your forehead back to center. Flip your palms down and bring your feet parallel. On your next inhalation, keep your gaze down this time. Lift your head and your chest and your arms. And as you exhale, you may bring your legs off the floor, trying to keep your knees extended. So do not worry about lifting your chest too much. Try to keep your heels and the back of the head at the same level. If this is too uncomfortable, you can place a blanket under your hips, especially if you find that your hip bones or your pivot bone are pressing too hard on the floor. We'll take one more breath here, full deep breath. And on the next exhalation, mindfully release onto the floor. Keep your hands by your hips, flip your palms up, gaze to the right once again. Big toes touching, heels out. Slowly turn your head to the other side. And when you are ready, bring your forehead back down to the floor. This time we're gonna repeat, or depending on what's going on your body, you may try Dhanurasana or bow pose. So for some of us, we'll stay here, palms face down, and on the next inhalation, we lift the upper body, including the arms, and on the exhalation, we bring those legs up. Those of you who want to try Dhanurasana, bend your knees and hold onto your ankles, maybe. Flex your feet, and lift your upper body, and breathe. You may bring those feet up, pressing your feet against the hands and the hands against the feet. Gaze may be forward depending on the neck, don't force it. We may go higher, we don't have to, in whichever version we are. And with control on the next exhalation, release the knees down, release your body down, forehead to the floor. And let go of your feet. Circle your arms and bring your hands under the forehead. Toes touching, heels out. You may bend your knees and windshield wipe your feet. Bring yourself back to center, feet down. Hands under the shoulders on the inhalation. And on the exhalation, push yourself up, back onto your knees. So it depends. If you like, you can stay on tabletop. And from here, tuck your tailbone, round your back, and let your head dangle. Some of you may want to go into child's pose instead. If you choose child's pose, because we're gonna do it as an equalizer, this time we're gonna keep the knees together, sit back on your heels, round your back, and let your forehead down. Whether you stack your hands or rest your forehead all the way onto the floor. If your hands go all the way down to the floor, you want to maybe if your forehead goes down to the floor, you may bring your hands by your hips, palms facing up, rounding your shoulders. We'll take one more breath here, full deep breath. Move your hands under the shoulders as you inhale. And as you exhale, push yourself up. Walk onto your tabletop position. So we're gonna first go onto a cow stretch. Keep your tailbone up and then draw your rib cage upwards, but the tailbone stays up. So your pelvis is in anterior position, but your thoracic spine is not arching. From here, you're gonna push the mat away from you, move the eyes of the elbows forward, and then curl the toes under, push your knees up off the floor, and then go back onto downward dog. So we keep that tailbone, happy tailbone position. We keep drawing the rib cage. But in this position, you want to think about your rib cage moving almost towards the sky rather than towards your chest. But your tailbone is moving towards the sky. Your heels are pressing down. Your hands are pressing down and forward. Your head is relaxed. Remember, we're gonna sit here in downward dog only if it feels right and if you don't have any concerns with blood pressure or eye pressure or even a headache. You can stay on cow stretch instead. Otherwise, breathe deeply here. Put equal weight on left and right. 2 more breaths. And when you are ready, you're gonna walk your feet towards the hands. Bend your knees a lot. Hands on your thighs, come up halfway. Send the weight back onto your heels. And then keep your head above the chest for a few moments. With control, walk your hands up the legs. And shoulders back and down. You may get some water now, if you haven't. And you may want to use a block. You don't have to, but I will keep it handy just in case. If you don't have a block, then have a blanket and fold it. And make yourself just a support once again, only in case you want to use it. You may not want to use it, but we'll see. All right, so we're going to go and face the long end of the mat. And bring your feet wide apart, just comfortably. And then from here, relax your shoulders back and down a few times. When you are ready, come back to center and turn your toes out to the sides. Now, this is how far you take your toes. It will totally depend on your knees. It will depend on your knees. So when you bend your knees, if your knees are collapsing, that means that your toes need to come in a little bit. You don't want your toes moving out and your knees in. That's a no-no. So do check the position of your kneecap. The right center of the kneecap should be pointing at the second toe, next to the big toe. And then we check how wide we're gonna go. So if you go just about here, that's okay. As long as your knees stay above the ankles. If you stay close, like your feet stay close and then you go farther like this is not gonna be good for your knees and you're gonna start collapsing your arches. So it's important that you adjust the width of your feet and the eversion of your feet as well, like how far out you take your toes. Send your pubic bone slightly forward. So I'm going sideways now. And in this goddess pose, we want to prevent letting the bum sink back. So we're gonna sip through the navel, squeeze your buttocks, draw your ribcage in, and then you decide how far you go. Keep your shoulders over the hips. All right, we stay here, we breathe. Bring your arms at a T position, palms facing up, and draw your shoulders in. Bend your elbows, palms facing up, goddess arms, Gyan Mudra. Lift the toes and try to put some weight onto the outer edges of your feet, but still press the toe mount onto the ground so your arches are active. Breathe deeply. If you went too deep down, come up, don't overdo it. Push your elbows back and your shoulders down. Soft mudra. On the next inhalation, extend your legs. And as you exhale, turn the left toes towards the left, right, forward. And your right toes, you're gonna adjust them so they point straight towards the short end of the mat, hips towards the long end, and then bend your knee for warrior two. Gaze maybe goes towards your right hand. Breathe. Feet are still active, and you're putting more weight onto the outer edge of the foot. If you want more challenge, you can go a little bit deeper on your next exhalation. Do make sure that your knee stays safe so you don't push it far beyond your toes. It might go a little further than your ankle, but don't overdo it. And try to keep the weight onto the right heel, but still Once again, press the ball of the right foot up. And I meant down. All right, so when you are ready, you're gonna come up onto your extension of that right knee, and then turn your left toes out to the left, sink onto your goddess pose, and goddess arms once again. Breathe deeply. You wanna think about your knees pushing out to the sides towards the pinkies. Don't let them collapse. Do adjust your feet if you need to. When we are ready, we're gonna extend that right leg. Well, actually we extend both legs, and then we turn the right toes so that they face the long end of the mat, and the left toes face the short end of the mat. And warrior two, sinking onto that right leg, and I meant left leg. Okay, so today my left and right are as usual. Remember that you're sending your pubic bone slightly forward, and you're activating both feet, gaze towards the left hand, maybe. One more breath. And with control, you're gonna turn, extend your leg, release your arms, toes out to the sides, sink onto your goddess pose once again, goddess arms. Notice if each time you're going to goddess, it just feels a little easier on your hips. Toes are lifted. One more breath. Extend your legs as you inhale, and as you exhale, release your hands, toes face forward. Heel to your feet just slightly closer together, not too much. Come up to an upright, relax your shoulders back and down. Awesome. Now, when we're ready, we're gonna shift the weight onto the left foot and bring your right foot up in front, flex your foot, and then you're gonna move that foot sole towards the left, externally rotating your hip. Gyan Mudra once again. Goddess arms, rotate your torso to the right. And you may bring your hands into Krishna playing the flute. Keep your elbows at the level of your shoulders. Keep your shoulders down. And you may play the flute and dance. We'll take one more breath, full deep breath. And with control, come back to center, step to the side, walk it out, shoulders back and down. And we shift the weight onto the right foot. Left knee up, flex your left foot. Externally rotate your hip. Rotate your torso towards the left. We're going to try to keep, or not, a soft mudra. And you may play the flute, your imaginary flute. You can dance or not. We are rotating the torso to the left, by the way. I think I missed that cue. How are you guys doing? All right, so we'll do one more breath, take one more breath. And then when you're ready, step back and walk it out and shake the tension off. Awesome. We're gonna go down, no fancy way, find your way down on the floor. Oh, I missed one. I said you were going to use this one. Okay, wait, we'll come up again. Sorry guys, forgot this one. So this is a problem when you plan classes, then you forget what you planned. So you're going to have your block. You might not use it, you can try it without it, okay? And you can bring your heels on your block or your blanket. If you do a blanket, make sure that it's firm, or you can go against the wall so your blanket doesn't, you know, escape you, or you can bend your mat and, you know, roll it. So your toes are pointing forward, Tadasana feet. And when you are ready, you're gonna hinge from the hips, micro bend your knees, and let your body fall. And release your hands and let your head dangle. Breathe. Try to send the weight back to your heels so you don't feel like you're going forward. Try to extend your knees as much as is comfortable for you. And then when you are ready, you're gonna slowly and mindfully bring the hands to your thighs, bend your knees, come up halfway, and then come up. Awesome. I'm gonna do the other side. So you're gonna place the block in front of you. Please watch it. You may bring the balls of the feet onto the block, and you can keep going without props, folding forward, all right? The prop is just an option. This is for those who'd like some more extension of the hamstrings. So micro bend your knees, hinge from your hips, lean forward and release. Let your head dangle. You may extend your legs without locking them. Don't let your toes grip. Try to relax them. When you are ready, bring your hands on your thighs, bend your knees a bit more, come up first halfway, and then walk your hands up and take the block out of the way. No block, Tadasana, hinging from the hips, micro bend the knees, lean forward and release down. And usually when we do this after using the prop, you may notice there is some softness to this forward fold, so you might get a little bit further down than you normally would. We'll take one more breath, full deep breath. And when you are ready, gonna bring your hands down onto the floor, bend your knees, come all the way down, and find your way onto your back, onto your Shavasana. Keep your strap handy. Goodness. And relax for a few moments here. If you don't have a strap, remember the scat will do. A towel. Bring your foot tools on the floor and then bring the strap on the ball of the right foot. Extend your leg. You can stay here, or if it works for you, you may extend the left leg down, flexing the foot. Breathe. Tuck your chin. When you are ready, you're gonna hold the strap with the left hand and bring your right arm out to the side, to the right, at a T position. And then move your leg to the left, just a little bit, that you can feel the stretch on your IT band. When you're ready, come back to center, hold tightly. You can bend the bottom knee if you like, depending what's going on your hips. And on your next exhalation, rotate your pelvis to the left, extending that right leg. Your bottom leg could stay extended if that feels okay on your hips, but that won't work for everybody. So bending the bottom knee is always an option. Very mindfully and with control, bring yourself up. If your left leg is extended, bend your knee, bring your foot sole onto the floor. Free your foot, release your leg down, and then extend that left leg. Take a few moments. And notice the difference. You might feel a little rotated to the right. Maybe your right leg feels closer to the floor or longer or lighter. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. First, bring your foot soles on the ground and then strap goes to the ball of the left foot. Once more, you can keep that right knee bent. This is perfect. If you choose, extend the right leg down, flex your foot. Keep your shoulders down. So give yourself enough length with your strap so you're not reaching forward, rounding your shoulders. You're gonna hold the strap with your right hand and rest your left arm at a T position. Palm can be up or down depending on the shoulder. And then move your leg to the right just a little bit just to get that nice stretch on the side. Very slowly and mindfully bring yourself back to center. You may bend the right knee, and when you're ready, go into your spinal twist. Bring your leg down to the right. Your foot may not touch the floor. You can use the strap to help the foot into that flexion, or you can help it to bring it a little higher. If gravity is taking your foot all the way down and that doesn't work, doesn't feel right, you can just hold it up. When you're ready, you're gonna be very mindful to bring that leg all the way up once again. Bring your right foot sole to the floor, free your foot, put your strap aside, and then release slowly that leg down. Extend both legs, relax and observe. You can go on to your butterfly position, or if there is any other stretch you want to do before that, you can go for it now. Otherwise, rest your foot soles on the floor, then bring them together as your knees flare. Pubic bone and hip bones are balanced. Rib cage is down and hands are relaxed. Close your eyes, watch your breath. When you're ready and on your next breath, you're gonna bring your knees up. Extend your legs one at a time. Let your body release all tension. Notice the risings and fallings of your tummy. Your next breath, wiggle your toes. Move your feet side to side. Wiggle your fingers. Stretch your arms overhead. Bring your legs close together and give yourself a big stretch. Flex or point your feet tight, tight, tight. Maybe prune face or the new face. Release your jaw. And then relax. And we'll do it again. Point your toes or flex your feet and squeeze and tense. And release. Last one, make it count. Inhale deeply, stretch and tense and squeeze every muscle tight, tight, tight. Prune face. And exhale, release. Move onto your favorite side when you're ready. Use your top hand and slowly help yourself up. You can sit on your block or blanket or pillow. Find a comfortable seated position, cross-legged or legs extended or one leg on top of the other. Bring your hands together at the center of the heart. We're gonna seal our practice with our metta mantra. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be brave. May I live in peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you be brave. May you live in peace. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all be safe. May all be brave. May all live in peace. Inhale through your nostrils, expand. Through your nostrils, exhale. Inhale to Om. Om. Observe. Tuck your chin on your chest and open your eyes. Gaze forward. Shower yourself with your own good vibes. And shake off whatever it is you don't need. Thank you so much, yoginis. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.